Hi folks and welcome. My name is Sven, aka Smart, and I would like to show you in this video how to inspect HTML5 or HTML web elements that aren't always easy to inspect. What I mean by that will be clear, I hope so, in the next minutes or moments, I would say. I assume that you are all familiar with common drop-down boxes like this one. This is a drop-down box. You click on it and you have several entries to choose from. So I choose spider and all good. But the usual way of building such an element, such a drop-down box, is by using the select HTML element. Select and the following options. And in the values, as you can see, you see which entries or names you can choose from and so on. In case you want to inspect these elements, you press F12 and I use Chrome as a browser and this opens up the Chrome DevTools. And now I can click on that icon and click on my element of interest. Then you can see in the elements pane in this DOM preview the selected element. And when I open this up, you can see all the options. So it's easy to create now a selector or XPath, like I would do now. Select option. And as you can see here, I can see all the 7 options, and I can create a better filter on my selector and so on. But now let's focus on the problem. With frameworks like React, modern web UI frameworks, or Angular, Svelte, whatever you name it, there comes component-based libraries, and with these libraries come the issue that they reinvent the wheel, sometimes a bit too much, and they don't use the usual way of HTML5. They create different structure of one component. So this drop-down box is standard by select and option, and this drop-down box is not a standard. And with this comes maybe several problems. So let's inspect this one. I pressed F12, I go to the inspect icon, I search the element, and now I can see, okay, it's a div container element, and in it you can see it's an input. That's pretty unusual. It's not the standardized way of doing it. So now we want to see where all the options are, the entries, which we can choose from. So, and as you can see here in the DOM, there is no options section or no other a container or elements like this. So why? Because when I click on this, maybe you saw it or you see it. There is this element, select menu. This element appears in the DOM only in that moment when the user triggers the click event on this drop-down item. So, but when I try to open it up, it will disappear because there was another click, another event. So how can we achieve the inspection of these elements to use it in our automation or in our web scraping, whatever? We have to break the JavaScript execution by debugging the session, the JavaScript execution. So this is actually pretty easy. We switch to the sources pane. Then we see on the right-hand side, there are several ways of entering breakpoints, but we are focusing on event listener breakpoints. Open this up, choose mouse, and now we simply want a click event trigger which triggers the breakpoint, which pauses the execution of the JavaScript in the background. So now I open up this drop-down and I choose any of them. And as you can see here, paused in debugger. The debugger mode is active now. Usually you want to do your real debug session. You want to understand the code, debug the code, whatever you want to do with it by these options here. But this is not the focus of the video. Now we have stopped the execution and we can click here, 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 and this drop-down box or the entries, the options don't disappear like before. So we can go back to the elements pane and now we can open up this menu. Okay, well, surprisingly, we have another div container and another div, but these are the equivalent to the options. As you can see here, this should be the select one and this should be the options. What I mean, select option, div, this is the parent, this is the child, first child, second child, and so on. And now you can let me do this, use the ID, for example, or other attributes to find this specific entry or element. So I try to do it. Let me do it in the contains way. Add ID, I would say I can do it in this way. Yeah, why not? As you can see, we use a ID and we have 10 options in this drop-down box because they only differ in the suffix of this ID. As you can see, React, select, free, option, free, 4, 5, and so on. And that's why I simply use the contains one. Of course, if you really want, let's say purple, where's purple? Purple is the 2. Then you only, as you can see, you only get one match. And then you also don't have to use the contains method. So you can do this. Okay. And of course, if you reload the page, the debug session is resetted, and that's all. I guess I will show some more debugging with the Chrome DevTools because you can do really cool things and inject several actions or events. But that's for now. I hope it was helpful. I hope you can improve your actions with the Chrome DevTools and you enjoy it a bit. Okay, thank you for listening or watching and see you on the next one. Bye.